Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seahawk Recap Show hosted by yours truly, Ryan Koki. How are we all feeling on this week 5 bye week? And I bet you weren't going to see me today because there is no Seahawks game today, but I wanted to do something really nice for you guys. I'm going to do a Seahawk bye week show, and it's just going to be me talking to you about the 3-1 start we have and the first 4 games of the regular season and how I'm feeling about it and who I've really enjoyed watching throughout these 4 games. But happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians out there. It is Thanksgiving for us, so happy Thanksgiving. And without further ado, before I ramble on too much, let's get in to the Seahawk bye week show. So let's talk about the team stats for the Seahawks. So as we're looking at it, 3-1 record, second in the NFC West, 111 points for, 91 points against, a 1-1 home record, and a 2-0 record away from home, and with a 3-game winning streak. Let's try to make it 4 against the Bengals next week when we come off the bye week. That would be very, very great for the Seahawks, and it'd be very, very great for me because I love watching the Seahawks win. So let's get in to the stats, shall we, for the Seahawks? Total first downs. We have 81 total first downs through the first 4 games. Not too bad. Honestly, I was expecting a lot less, considering some of the defenses that we were going up against. We have 26 rushing first downs, 45 passing first downs, and we have 10 first downs through penalties. It looks like, honestly, we're going a lot for passing to get our first downs. And one of the reasons for that would be probably because we're putting ourselves in third down situations where we have to pass the ball. I'm still just glad that we're getting first downs, but can we get ourselves in position where we can start running for first downs instead of having to throw it 45 times to get first downs? We look at the third down conversions, 13 for 45. That is abysmal. I do not like that at all. And I will get more in depth into that later on in the episode. 2 for 4 on fourth down conversions, not bad. That's 50%. If you know Pete Carroll at all, like I do, he doesn't like going for it on fourth down too often. He'll do it, but it's not in his forte to do it. So I'm happy that it's at 50%. But for total offensive yards, we have 1,279 offensive plays and average yards. So we have 235 offensive plays, and we're averaging 5.4 yards per play, which is pretty nice. That's pretty nice. That's just average, honestly, which isn't that bad. When we get to the total rushing yards, this is really nice because this is Pete Carroll's kind of bread and butter. 434 total rushing yards. We have 99 total rushing plays for 4.4 yards per play, and that's not bad. Considering the injuries to the offensive line, considering the acrobatics and dark magic we've had to do with the offensive line, losing 2 starting tackles, left and right, Charles Cross and Amber Lucas, is going to put a dent in some of your run plays. But it's been really nice to see that we're still running the ball with some efficiency. And I hope when Abraham Lucas, and Charles Cross gets back, that number will just continue to go up. Total passing yards, we have 909 on total passing yards. And it's really nice to see because Geno Smith has been a rock for us. I think we're going to get into the sacks. We've only allowed 7 sacks. But the offensive line, as banged up as it has been, and I'm going to keep harping on this, I know everyone has injuries at the moment to everybody in the NFL, but it's super impressive how the coaching staff has really shown up. And next man mentality has really gone into this because Stone Forsythe and Ryan Curhan are two backup tackles. And to fill in the big shoes of Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas, that's a big deal. So allowing 7 sacks is great. And we've got to give credit to Geno Smith for that as well, because his pocket presence, even when the pocket collapses around him, he's able to either get the ball out or just run. And it's really nice to see him use that mobility. But we get to the field goals, 9 for 13 on field goals. People were complaining about Jason Myers missing his field goals, but the man, the man's trying. And to have a reliable kicker, your kicker is going to miss some field goals. That's just inevitable. He's never going to be a Justin Tucker who can just kick from anywhere, because that guy is a machine. People were wondering why we paid him 20 to 21 million for 4 years. This is why. He has 37 points, total points in our offense for us. So that's nice to have always. It's nice to have a reliable field goal kicker. But we have 12 touchdowns. And of those touchdowns, we have 5 passing, 5 rushing, and 2 pick sixes. 1 for Trey Brown and 1 for Devin Witherspoon, the rookie. And the next segment, which I'm going to get to now, it's the top performers. So in the top performers list, I just went through everybody on their positions and who the Seahawks say is their top performer. And I'll get into who I think my top performers of the Seahawks season has been. But let's get into this. Passing leaders. Geno Smith, obviously. He is the starting QB. He's going to be the starting QB for the next 3 years. So, yeah, of course, he gets passing leader. I would be concerned if he didn't. 68.3% completion percentage. That is great. And it's one of the reasons why Geno Smith, I think, actually, no, it's not one of the reasons why I think. It's one of the reasons why I know he got comeback player of the year last year. Because this guy is so accurate throwing the football. He's got that kind of mentality where even if things are crumbling around him, like his pocket, he'll still stick in there. He'll still find an open receiver, and it's really nice to see. And it's showing on the stat sheet. But he's got 846 yards, averaging 6.9 yards per pass, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 7 times for 64 yards lost. Honestly, that's a good stat line for 4 games. I'm happy with Geno Smith playing as well as he has. But we get to a guy that I've really been impressed with, and I've been saying his prayers from day one. He's one of the reasons why I picked him to be a breakout season, and it's Kenneth Walker, man. 64 carries, 283 yards, averaging 4.4 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns. If you saw the video where I was looking at my season predictions, which was a while ago, that was like a month ago now, when I first started the channel, on the first video actually that I started the channel with. If you want to go back and watch that, you can. It's on the channel in the News of the Week playlist. It is called Episode 1. Welcome. In that video, I said that Kenneth Walker, in his first season as a rookie, only had 9 rushing touchdowns. He's at 5 right now in his first 4 games. That's insane. And that's why I chose him to be a breakout, because, man, he looked like he wanted more touchdowns than that. And look what happens when you get 1 year under your belt and you can just get better. We get to the receiving, and it's DK Metcalf. 18 receptions, 268 yards, averaging 14.9 yards per reception and 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf is the big shot. He is the guy that'll go down and he'll be there for Geno Smith when he needs a long pass. He's a guy that you're going to see get a lot of yardage and a lot of yards per attempt per reception, because he's just that deep threat. He's taking over that role from Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is now the safety blanket wide receiver, if you will. He's the guy that Geno Smith will look for if he needs just a surefire catch. If he wants the big bomb, he'll go to DK. If he wants the surefire catch, he'll go to Tyler Lockett or maybe Jackson Smith in Jigba. We get to the tackling leader, and it's Bobby Wagner. And this is one of the reasons why I love having Bobby Wagner back on the team. I'm so glad that he's not on the Rams anymore because we really needed him. And this is showing why he is still a Seahawk through and through. He's got 27 solo tackles, 23 assisted, 2 sacks, no interceptions, no forced fumbles. I'm not expecting him to get a lot of interceptions nowadays with his age because at his age he's what 30, 32, 31. So he'll start to slow down in speed wise. That's why you have a guy like Jordan Brooks because now Bobby Wagner can use his skill set as a tackling machine and just purely go after the runners. And Jordan Brooks can go, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to go cover guys. But we get to the interception leader, and it's Devin Witherspoon. There's only 3 Seahawks that have interceptions. It's Trey Brown, Quandre Diggs, and Devin Witherspoon. The reason why Devin Witherspoon is at the top is because he's got that one interception for a pick six, and it was 97 yards. 97 yards for your first career interception, and you return it for a pick six. Yeah, that's why you're a top 5 pick. This guy is immaculate, and I'm so glad that he's now a Seahawk because he reminds me a lot of a former Seahawks corner in Richard Sherman. It's so nice to see, but I'll get more into him in a bit. We got the special teams. It's Jason Myers, the kicker, 9 for 13 on field goals, 10 for 10 on extra points. Longest field goal made is 43 yards and 37 total points in the first 4 games. He's one of the reasons why we are at a 3-1 record. Without the reliable kicker of Jason Myers, without that foot, we could have lost a lot more games. I feel. We get to the other special teamer, and it's the punter Michael Dixon. This guy was an all-pro punter last season. And the reason why he was an all-pro punter is because he is just exceptionally good. He's one of the best punters, not only the Seahawks have had since John Ryan in the Legion of Boom days, but he's also been one of the best punters in the NFL. 13 punts this season, 695 yards with those 13 punts, averaging 53.5 yards per punt and a net average of 48.8 yards per punt. We get to returning, and it is kick returner and punt returner DJ Dallas, the running back, the guy who was supposed to be the power back to Kenneth Walker, but he's been a really good punt and kick returner on special teams. He's a guy that after losing Travis Homer in the offseason to the Bears, he's really filled that role well. 7 kicks returned on kickoff, no fair catches, has 186 yards, and averaging 26.6 yards per return, 0 touchdowns. On the punting side of things, he's returned 5 punts, fair caught 4 of them. So he started at the 25 with fair catches usually, and he's averaging only 16.4 yards per punt, but still nice to have a reliable kick returner back there for the Seahawks. We get into Ryan's player spotlight part 1, and this is where I discuss my reasoning for some of the players I've put in my list, and watching them play has been really good. Let's get to Geno Smith. I'm not going to read his stats because I already read it previously. Here's my reason for picking Geno Smith. I picked Geno Smith because throughout the first 4 games, he's really impressed me. 68.3% completion percentage with the makeshift offensive line. Again, missing your 2 best tackles is one of the hardest things for a quarterback because those tackles are the protectors. They're the ends. So they're coming off against the D ends. And with the D ends in the NFC, you got Nick Bosa, for example. Like he's gigantic. You've got I know this is not in the NFC, but you've got Myles Garrett. Like if any of those guys, like you got a couple of guys in there on DN that are really good. But it's really nice to see that Geno Smith is still putting up the numbers. He's one of the sole reasons why we have the 3-1 record. He's thrown 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, and, you know, with his pocket presence, again, when the pocket breaks down, he doesn't panic. He scrambles, but he scrambles calmly. Like, he's not a guy that will go, "Oh, I need to scramble now because my pocket just collapsed and it scared me." It's like, no, he's calculated when he scrambles, and it's really nice to see. And I really like having Geno Smith uh answer the bell coming into the Seahawks organization and hitting the ground running with the scheme. So it's really nice to see. Now we get on to the running back, Zach Charbonnet, and he's got 21 attempts, 104 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry and 0 touchdowns. This guy, I've really been impressed with the second round pick out of UCLA so far in his first 4 games. I really didn't know what to expect from him coming in, and he's presently surprised me with the way he's been running. He runs hard on every carry he gets. It doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 1, it doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 8. He'll still run like his life depends on it. And he reminds me, I know this is a little bit far fetched, maybe in a comparison sense, but he reminds me a lot of Beast Mode in the way he plays. Just angry all the time. He's broken a lot of tackles, and you look at what he did to the Giants in week 4. That was with the truck. That was insane. The amount of power that little guy has behind him is just insane. And now with him and Kenneth Walker working in tandem, it's now going to let Kenneth Walker not be so gassed. He can now come out of games reliably and go, okay, Zach Charbonnet's got this. And it opens the playbook for Pete Carroll to now get back to what he loves doing the most, which is running the football. It's really nice to see, and I hope that Zach Charbonnet gets his first touchdown of his career very soon because he deserves it with the amount of weight he's carried for this team. But we get to the second part of Ryan's spotlight. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba up next. He has 12 receptions for 62 yards, averaging 5.2 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. Although Jackson Smith in Jigba's stats wise doesn't look great, you got to remember that he's behind Tyler Lockett. He's behind DK Metcalf. He's kind of buried in that system, and he's not in the role, like he's not a boundary guy. He's a slot guy. And with slot receivers, that's usually not the quarterback's first read. He's usually their third read, depending on the play. And to put up 62 yards already, like with 12 receptions, putting up 62 yards isn't too bad. And I'm looking more at the average, 5.2 per reception. Not bad. The workload that he's gotten is very nice. I think the Seahawks are still trying to figure out how to best utilize him. And I know Seahawks fans, I'm with you. I am one of those people that really hope that Pete Carroll figures out what kind of player Jackson Smith is, because I really want him to show why he was a top 20 pick in this year's draft, because he was touted as one of the best receiver prospects in this draft. And I really want to see him get his first touchdown. I really want to see him get more yardage and show what he can actually do. We get to cornerback Devin Witherspoon, and this guy, again, just a monster. And I said we would get to him in better detail. Here it is: 16 solo tackles, 7 assisted, 2 sacks, 1 interception, which was his first interception for the pick six, 97 yards for a touchdown. Well, I guess that top 5 draft pick last season was a really good place to take him, because Devin Witherspoon has really showed up. In his first 4 games, especially in the slot, like he was doing on Monday Night Football, he has really found a home there. And I hope that the Seahawks will go, okay, instead of using Devin Witherspoon as a boundary corner, let's take him and put him in the slot. Because honestly, this guy hits like a truck. Like I said, like I mentioned, I compare him to a Richard Sherman. His amount of aggressiveness matches what Richard Sherman did on the Seahawks. His willingness to hit the heck out of all these wide receivers and tight ends, that just shows that he has a high motor, that shows that he has a passion for football, and that shows that he's really committed on each play to try to either make a big play or just let people know he's there. So it's really nice to see Devin Witherspoon, and I'm so glad that he's a Seahawk corner, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds for him. But we get to the final part of my spotlight, and it's Jordan Brooks this time, middle linebacker, 20 solo tackles, 21 assisted, 2 sacks, no interceptions, no forced fumbles. Well, if you guys don't remember, Jordan Brooks left last season with an ACL injury, and it looks like his injury is fixed. It looks like his ACL doesn't bother him anymore. Man, this guy has not missed a beat since coming back, and he's one of the reasons why I love this linebacking core. Him and Bobby Wagner, the Seahawks wanted to prioritize stopping the run. And this is one of the best linebacking cores I can think about, just even doing that, because they play good on every down. They don't allow too much yardage on every down. And now Jordan Brooks is going to take over for Bobby Wagner in the coverage responsibilities because Jordan Brooks can cover. Like you see him playing against certain receivers, like he'll be on them, and sure, he might allow the catch, but he'll always be there to make the tackle, and that's really nice. Again, what is one thing I keep harping at? If you have a good defense, to have a good defense, you need one simple thing, and that is good tackling. And to be a good tackler, even if you allow the catch, do you allow them to get yards after the catch? Because Jordan Brooks just doesn't. He is a guy that knows how to tackle and he knows how to tackle well. And this linebacking core with him in it and Bobby is going to look bright for years to come. Speaking of linebackers, we get to the last guy on the list, off the ball linebacker. You can place him on the right side, you can place him on the left side. It is Boy Amafe. 6 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles, 2 sacks, no interceptions, no forced fumbles. And stats can be misleading. I know that it doesn't look like he's done much, but if you watch the games, you'll see that his pass rushing ability is insane. In the first 4 games, he has shown that even if he's not doing much on the stat sheet, the amount of pressure he's applying to quarterbacks and making them have fast reads. The amount of times I've seen him going, just getting past blockers and going into the backfield and just running and hunting down the quarterback is insane. And I really like him. And I'm finally seeing why Pete Carroll all training camp, he was talking Boyamafe up like the next coming of I don't even know what. But he was talking him up so much. And I was like, well, he can't be that good, right? Well, he's shown it through the first 4 games that he is going to be a future star in this league, especially at pass rush. And he's one of the main reasons why this pass rush has been so good. Him and Uchenna Nwosu are some of the best right outside and off the ball linebackers we have had in years. So it's really nice to see. And he's one of the reasons why I think him just keeping up the pace of putting pressure on the quarterback and making him have to have fast decision making is one of the reasons why I think this team can be a top 15 defense or a top 10 defense in the NFL. My final thoughts. So, what has gone well throughout the first 4 games? Throughout the first 4 games of the season, I've been really happy with the performance of the Seahawks team. Starting with a 3-1 start isn't too shabby, considering our team hasn't been at full strength for the majority of the season. I'm really impressed by the coaching staff's ability to improvise on the fly, especially with the offensive line. Still putting up the numbers they're doing with two backup tackles is mental. And, I think this team could start to gel, at least on that offensive line, and that that offense will get going. With a 3-game winning streak, anything is possible. They will keep on going. And let's try to build on this momentum because going into next week against the Bengals, if we can get to a 4-1 start, oh boy. Oh boy, it's going to be nice because we got some tough people on the schedule, especially those 49ers games. As I've talked up the whole entire team, I must talk down and criticize the team a little bit. Like everything in the NFL, you can always find ways to improve your team. Although the 3-1 start is nice, the third down conversion rate is abysmal. Like it's one of the worst I've ever seen. Um, and one of the reasons for this is due to the undisciplined penalties. Um, One example that keeps popping into my mind of undisciplined penalties is Monday Night Football against the Giants. Geno Smith threw a ball. It was like 3rd and 8. He threw the ball. It got caught to Tyler Lockett, and Tyler Lockett just went and got the first down, and Geno Smith went, yes, and taunted at the opposing sideline. And if you don't know, taunting in the NFL is no longer allowed. You are not allowed to taunt at the opposing sideline because that will result in unsportsmanlike. And Geno Smith, as soon as that happened, as soon as he pointed, he got a flag thrown against him, and the drive basically ended because then we were like 3rd and 12, and that was a drive killer right there. Geno Smith single-handedly killed the drive because he made an undisciplined call. If you want to be a playoff team, you can't have that. You can't have as many penalties as you've been getting in the first 4 games. And you need to understand that getting your emotions into the game is very good. And I know it's an emotional game, but you need to chill. You need to chill out because those can lead to unsportsmanlike penalties. And also, if you want to be a playoff team, you need to get those 3rd down conversions up. So instead of having to put yourself in 3rd and long, put yourself in 3rd and manageable through running. Put yourself in 3rd and manageable through short passes. Try to get the tight ends more involved in those short passing yardage situations, I would say, and get yourself like a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5 because those are manageable. I'm very happy with the start to the season. And even though we have some things to improve on, I think the team has already started to gel with a 3-game winning streak. I believe that in this team, and I think we're going to go far in the playoffs as long as we keep everything together and we improve on the 3rd down conversion rate and the unnecessary penalties. Anyways, that has been the end of this episode, week 5, the bye week show on the Seahawk recap show. And I will see you guys on Saturday for News of the Week, episode number 10. And I will see you also next Monday because we got week 5. We come off the bye week against the Bengals. I will see you hopefully then. Anyways, this is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show signing off. Go, Hawks, go.